Hello everybody, welcome to a new series. My name is Pangoduck, of course, and I'm sitting down to play Pillars of Eternity. This is going to be a long one. It's going to be a long one. I've got the White March DLC installed, and I have never played this game before. However, there is a little bit I've played before, which I'm now going to talk about, because I want to do a tiny little bit of housekeeping, and also set expectations for this episode. So first of all, this series will typically be on Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. I'm going to make episodes about an hour long. Normally I would only do 45 minutes. But this is going to be a long game, so I do want to try and get through it at a reasonable pace. And if I can do a bonus episode, I will, of varying length, depending on how much time I have. And then I will push Sunday's episode forward to Saturday and put my bonus one on the Sunday. But anyway, talking about this episode, I have already recorded the little, it's not very much, a little intro area where it is packed with tutorials. I had to read all the tutorials, it took a long time. I also took way too long in character creation because I read about all of the races and all of the classes, and it wasn't worth it for the video. So I'm going to do it again, but rather than having me read all of that stuff, I'm only going to read the stuff relevant to my character. Then when we get into that kind of first place, rather than having to read all the tutorials, I can just explain to you how the game works. Now, it will probably still take an hour, so this whole episode is going to be that first area, which isn't, that small, but it's fairly small, and I'm going to explain how the game works, at least to my understanding, and feel free to correct me. But some people really probably don't want to deal with that, and there's going to be a fair amount of talking, so if you really don't want to watch that, even though there is going to be some interesting story, I just wanted to say that before we actually begin, which I think is fair enough. Okay, just quickly then, options, auto pause, these are the settings I've got on at the moment. We can change them as we go. But my understanding is that these are a decent place to kind of start. So, character depth, low endurance, low health, extraordinary defense, hidden object found, combat start, all of those things will automatically pause the game. Combat auto slow is on as well, which means if there's a lot of enemies, it will automatically go into slow mode, which is fine. I mean, it might get annoying, we'll find out. If it does, we can easily turn it off. So that's what I've done, for the time being. Okay, so with that said, let's go into the new game. I will be playing on normal. It does kind of try and ward you away from that, but I'm hoping it won't be too bad. And I would love to play with Iron Man on, but as I'm sure you can appreciate, that's a little bit dodgy when you're doing a Let's Play. Like, it can really screw up. Like, if you have a save file problem, or maybe you do something that we can all agree that I should be able to go back on because I was just being an absolute idiot, then we're screwed if I have it on Iron Man. So I will be playing with an Iron Man mentality, Iron Man. And if somebody dies, I'm very much a player who will accept that as part of the story, assuming we can still continue. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing any cheating or anything, but we won't put Iron Man on for that reason. Okay, so we're going to be baited into thinking that this is a cinematic. It's not. It's a glorified title screen, but it's very pretty. And then we're going to have a short little load here. And then we'll get an intro into the story before we do our character creation.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
We will go no further tonight. So that's unfortunate. We've been taken ill already. Not a good start. Right, character creation then. So, as I mentioned, let me just skip through for a sec. Previously, I talked about every single race. I read every single bit of info about them, every sub-race, all of the classes. I'm not going to do that. I'm assuming we're going to pick up all kinds of different people in our party as we go along, and maybe we can learn a bit about them then. I don't know. But I don't think it's worth... I mean, it's not even a new game, right? If it was a new game, maybe we'd all want to hear about everything about it. It's going to take too long. So I'm only going to read about the actual character that we're creating. Just those bits. And it will be male, so I will start with reading this bit. I will also just say There's a whole bunch of weird places and weird words that I have no idea how to pronounce. And indeed, my brain sometimes just picks a different way to pronounce it each time. But we're just going to roll with it. And I will say the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Feel free to correct me in the comments or whatever and tell me how something is pronounced if you want. No problem at all. I'm just saying, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, let's learn a little bit about males in Pillars of Eternity then. So, the place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Adir and the Deerwood place them at the forefront of military, politics, and heavy labour. Among the tribes of the Nasitak, men perform many of the homesteading and organisational duties. In Glanfath and Ixamital, men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and men can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. So it's kind of interesting, though, that they have these base cultures where, like, Adir and the Deerwood have a kind of more classic, traditional, kind of old-fashioned society, where men are often soldiers, politicians, labourers, things like that. And then you've got Glanfath and Ixamital, where men and women are kind of more, I don't know, progressive, I suppose. So we're going to be playing him. Well, not him, but a man. And then we've got these different races. We've got humans, we've got the Amawa, which I will pronounce about 6 different ways as well and stumble over. We've got the dwarves. We've got elves. We've got Orlans, which are essentially hobbits. Also, this, like, the sub-races on this. This one is more of a traditional hobbit, and then you've got the kind of foresty hobbit. They're not hobbits, yeah, I know. And then the godlike, which I will also show you the sub-races of as well, because they've got death, fire, moon, and nature, which is kind of crazy. It's really interesting. I think all the other sub-races, there's nothing to really write home about. You've got wood elves and pale elves. Dwarves, you've got mountains and boreal. The Amawa, I'm actually going to be playing Amawa, so I will show you that in a moment. And then we've got the ocean folk, meadow folk, and savannah folk for humans. But anyway, the Amawa then. The mighty Amawa are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rawatai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. Yeah, I realise that's probably not Rawatai. Ratatouille, I don't know. So anyway, we get Might +2 for playing an Amawa, which is lovely. We won't really talk about what the stats mean. You can mouse over stuff and it just tells you. We'll talk about it when we get to the point where we put our attributes in, because it'll just be much simpler that way. I am actually going to be playing an island Amawa. There are coastals as well, which are blue. And I'm going to tell you why now. Because yesterday, I was playing Total War Warhammer 3, and I became obsessed with ogres. Alright, so we're going to play a big ogre, big man with big weapon, big ogre, because that is what I'm currently feeling. So yeah, we've got the coastal ones, which are perhaps their more natural thing. I mean, it did talk about them being kind of very close to the coast and kind of aquatic creatures. But you do have the island Amara as well, and that's what I'm going to be going with. So let's just give them a little read. So, Island Amawa originated in the Deadfar Archipelago, 1,000 miles south of the Valian Republics. While physiologically similar to their coastal cousins, the coloration of Island Amawa is starkly different, brown and yellow, contrasting the coastal's blue and green. Though still uncommon in the Deerwood and surrounding environments, Island Amawa are more commonly encountered than coastal Amawa, who are quite rare. When encountered around the Deerwood, they are often labourers, fishermen, or sailors. Okay, so they are often labourers, which is an interesting point. We do get to pick our backstory. Labourer would maybe make sense, but we'll get to that. So as an Island Amawa, we also have arms to the teeth. All Island Amawa gain an additional weapon set. That's interesting, because now I'm kind of thinking, maybe I can get like a ranged weapon as well. I mean, I don't know how many the default is for weapon sets, but maybe I can have my two-handed weapon or whatever, and then maybe a ranged weapon as well, which would be really cool if possible. The coastal Amawa, just for kind of an interesting look, they have towering physique. Why can't I speak? Towering physique. Coastal Amawa gain bonuses to defend against prone and stun effects, so they're less likely to be knocked over, I suppose. But we will be going for Island, and then our class. Now, there are a lot of really interesting classes in this game. I definitely nearly picked some of them. I thought about doing a Dwarven Ranger with a bear, because they get an animal companion. Thought that would be fun. Chanter is really interesting as well. They're kind of like a bard. They have a bunch of phrases that they say and kind of chant, and that gives constant buffs or debuffs. And then they've got invocations, which can be either more powerful buffs and debuffs. They've got summons. Or it could be like AoE damage. They're just really interesting. I almost picked them. But no, in the end, I'm not going to go fighter, which is a very traditional fighting class. I'm going to be playing Barbarian, which does show dual wield, but you don't have to dual wield by any means. Simply because like I said, I've got this idea for the character that I want now. So, Barbarian, brutes, madmen, berserkers. Though city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect, these rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places, the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. Perfect. Starting ability then for us, Carnage. When barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks to all other enemies within a short distance of the target. So in other words, we have a passive AoE all the time. Won't do as much damage as to our main target, but we have a passive AoE, which is pretty cool. We get athletics +2 and survival +1, which again I won't worry about just at the moment, but there's a whole bunch of different stats. Like if we went Chanter, what do they have? Lore and mechanics. Mechanics is pretty good as far as I've seen so far, but we're going to have athletics and survival. So our endurance, health and accuracy and deflection, we're not really going to know a lot about what these numbers mean at the moment, but this description is in kind of relation to all the other classes. So we have very high endurance and health, average accuracy, and low deflection, which is basically deflection. I just kind of read almost like parry, right? It's defense against direct attacks essentially. So we have low defense, which is understandable for a barbarian, a kind of berserker class, but very high endurance and very high health. Essentially, these things are a bit weird, endurance and health. I mean, I'll talk about it a bit more when we get into the game, but endurance is almost like short-term health, and when you run out of endurance, you get knocked out. And health itself is kind of your long-term health, and you have more of it. It will go down a bit as well while you're fighting, but it's kind of, generally, if you run out of health, you're dead. Whereas if you run out of endurance, which is mainly what happens during combat, you'll get knocked out. Accuracy is exactly what it sounds like, and generally, accuracy is stacked up against defense to see whether your attacks get through or not as a roll, and you have a percentage chance. And it will depend on the type of attack and the type of defense and stuff. But we won't worry about that. Excuse me. We won't worry about that now. So anyway, we're going Barbarian. I'm going to stop talking quite as much, he says. So now we can pick between two abilities. We've got Frenzy. Sends the Barbarian into a frenzied state, granting a might, constitution, and attack speed bonus, but causing a deflection penalty against incoming attacks. While the Barbarian's Frenzy is active, his or her endurance and health are concealed. So basically, we go apeshit, and we can't see our health at all. And we have less defense, but we do more damage and stuff. We can use it once per encounter. And you can see the flat numbers here. +4 might, +4 constitution, +33% attack speed, -10 deflection, health and endurance concealed for 12 seconds. Alternatively, we've got Barbaric Yell. Lets out a terrifying yell, frightening enemies in the area of effect. 5 meters radius from the caster. So we can use this twice per encounter. Now this is interesting, because frightened for 12 seconds, and the test will be our accuracy versus the enemy's will, because will is another type of defense, don't worry about remembering this, but which is like against mentally based attacks. So it says there, paralyzing spells, things like that. So what does frightened actually do? It's not a fear where they run away, as you might expect. As you can see, resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2, and accuracy is reduced by 10. So it's actually kind of a, well, both offensive and defensive tool, because they're less likely to hit you because their accuracy is down, and you reduce their resolve and dexterity, which helps you when you're fighting against them. So those are the two options we have. I feel like, well, actually they're both pretty good options. Frenzy would maybe be better from a damage point of view, do we think? I think I would like to go Frenzy. Just an ogre, well, for all intents and purposes, an ogre. It's not an ogre, I need to get over that. And a Mauer just going absolutely crazy. Sounds good to me. So we'll go with Frenzy for now. And now we can go into our attributes. You'll notice some of them are gold starred and silver starred. That's because these are highly recommended for Barbarian, and these are just recommended. That said, things like Perception, let's ignore the descriptions for now and just look at the bottom. Perception is Interrupt, Accuracy, and Reflex. So that is going to be useful. Even so. And Resolve is Concentration, Deflection, and Will. I understand why that's not quite as appropriate for Barbarian. You might think Intellect is a weird choice for Barbarian, but if we have a look, Area of Effect, Duration, and Will. So duration is usually like the duration of effects, like damage over time spells or debuffs or whatever. So that is going to be useful as well, especially with our passive AoE, area of effect, yeah? Dexterity then, action speed and reflex. Reflex is another type of defense. Oh yes, dodging out of AoE, essentially. Action speed is obviously going to be quite important because that's how frequently we attack, right? Every time you attack, you have a bit of a recovery period. Having better action speed means you're more likely to attack again sooner, right? Constitution, obviously health and fortitude, and might is damage and healing and fortitude. So obviously might is going to be a big one. You can see that we start with 12, 10 is the default of everything, and we have +2 from Amawa. Some races have minuses and start at 9 of whatever, and then you actually have, look, a debuff to whatever you have 9 in, -1, -3. But 10 will put you at flat 0. Going above will start to give you increments of stats. So the deal is with this, we have 15 points. We can take away, like if we say we don't want resolve, we can take it away and get the points back. But I would like to start with no like debuffs. I'd rather have everything be 10 as an average, and I think that's fine. I'm not here to min-max. And what we can do is from the starting point, which means whether you started at 10, whether your race made this start at 9, whatever, you can put 8 points in. So if you started at 10, you can go to 18. Starting at 12, you can go to 20. And if I'd started, and I probably will actually, I don't know, we'll see. But and if you'd started at 9, you'd only be able to go to like 17 and not be able to go any further. So you can put 8 in. So I don't know what I want to do. It's all up in the air. Might is going to be really important to me. Constitution as well, because we have really low defense, right? And I'm kind of okay with us being a bit fragile, but I don't want it to be too much. Other than that, quite tempted by dexterity for action speed and reflex. Perception would be good for accuracy, but I feel like it's not as important as just having these things for what we want to do. Intellect, I'm not too fussed about the AoE, to be honest. Not overly fussed on that one. Or duration from debuffs. I just want to be a kind of raging, huge man with a big stick, is really what I'm looking for here. So I could go 20. I mean, it would be nice, right? Constitution 50. Maybe I do like that. 20, 15, 12. And leave these at 10. You know what? That's fine. Yeah, sure. Let's go for that. Now then, our culture, which is where we're from, essentially, or at least the culture of our character. These, as well as being, you know, lore heavy, these are also giving us one of a stat as well. So ADA gives us resolve. You can see it takes it up to 11. Dexterity takes it up to 13. Resolve, intellect, constitution, might, and perception. So if you're min-maxing, you obviously just pick the one that gives you the stat you want. But also, you'll notice it's changing the weapon that we begin with as well. So, well, all weapons. Like, that's dual wield. This is a two-hander. So there's a lot of choices to go after here. This Morning Star is very attractive to me, I must say. I love a good mace, I do. Or a hammer. So, I mean, I don't know. I might even sneak another point of dexterity and go for the Deadfire Archipelago. It says dozens of Amawa settlements. If you remember, this was mentioned in the description, so I feel like this is quite appropriate. So I think I might actually go for this one. We'll start with the big two-handed sword. I think that actually sounds fine. So, consisting of the nation of Nasitak, dozens of Amawa settlements, and hundreds of lawless, pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea, Deadfire is home to Boreal dwarves, Amawa, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. Okay, so dexterity +1, so that takes us to 13 as well, which is kind of nice, right? Get a little bit of a buff there. Can't mouse over it now, can we? No, that just takes us back here. Well, actually, yeah, we still have 13 though, so plus 9% action speed and plus 6 reflex. Cool. Cool. Well, actually, which one gave us deflection? Resolve. Because, yeah, so we're not really going for defense, but we've got to be careful. We've got to be a little bit fragile. Okay. Our background then. So you've got Aristocrat, Lore +2, Explorer, Lore and Survival, +1 each, Labourer, Athletics and Mechanics, Merchant, Lore and Mechanics, Slave, Athletics and Survival, Drifter, Stealth and Mechanics, Hunter, Stealth and Survival, Mercenary, Athletics and Lore, or Raider, Stealth and Athletics. So we talked about Labourer being really appropriate. Also, this seems good to me. Having another point of Athletics takes us to 3, I think, because we had 2 already. That would be quite good. And then, well, you can see actually, Well, let's read this one because we're going to have a few points in it, right? Adventuring is tiring work. In addition to the hazards of mortal combat, adventurers have walls to climb, rivers to cross, and pits to leap over. Once per encounter, characters with athletics can use the second wind ability to recover lost endurance. So it's like a heal, right? A higher athletics score increases the effect of second wind. In conversations and scripted interactions, athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, and jumping. Seems kind of, you know, that's fine. We'll do that. I think we will go for labor. And then mechanics, I won't read this, but stuff like lockpicking, traps, things like that, it's kind of handy to have a point in it, even though it's not really going to be the focus of our character. The other thing I feel like we could go for thematically is mercenary, which gives us athletics anyway, and lore. But I think I will go for labor because it kind of said that that was appropriate, right? Okay. Your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and ply your trade. Lovely. Alright, we're nearly there then. Appearance. I mean, essentially you get a bunch of pre-made portraits for different races. I'm not sure if number 1 isn't the only Island of Mauer. It might be. Either way, it's honestly fine. It'll do, because we're not going to get one exactly how I want. Colours will be our armour. I wouldn't mind going for sort of like a pango orange and black. I mean, you can't really see much on this. Would it be better to go the other way? Black there, orange here. No, let's put primary orange, secondary black. We'll see how that goes. Skin, I wouldn't mind making it a little bit lighter to be a bit more ogre-y, like classic. I know, we're not an ogre, I know, don't even. Dark hair. Okay, so this race doesn't have any facial hair. It's not allowed. We have 3 heads to pick from, which is mostly about the face paint, right? I'm kind of tempted to go for the red one. That one's pretty cool as well. I don't really want the blue one for what I'm going for. So I think I will go for the red one. Kind of shows a little bit like blood as well. And hair, I think we can just do whatever we want with hair. I mean, I could go bald. But then if we're using the portrait, I should really take the brown face paint, but I won't. I kind of want the red one. We could go for something similar. I think things like that are quite good for an ogre, and indeed a berserker. In fact, that actually looks really good. I might just stick with that one. We'll just have a quick flick through, though. I do like that one. Looks a bit more like a kind of dwarf hairstyle, though, to me. I mean, this literally doesn't matter, but I'm still checking them all. Oh god, the mohawk. No, we'll go with the one I said, that one. I think that one looks pretty good. I like it. The voice, then.
Yeah?
Now I am the leader.
I meant to click smooth again.
I'll take a peek.
Okay, that's not really what we're looking for.
Yes. Now I am the leader of the group.
That's not bad.
A blade in the dark. Yes.
I'm flattered.
Yeah!
Quietly now.
That's not really it.
Follow me. Let's go.
Stoic could be the answer.
Keeping quiet.
Huh? I've got this. Let's go!
Feisty is a little bit too bright for me.
Nothing will slip past me. Just say the word. I'll lead the way.
Cocky is a little bit bright as well.
Death to our enemies.
I do like cocky kind of dispositions in general, but I think that's a little bit too bright.
Let's keep quiet. Yes? Leading the way. Onward. To whispers and shadows. I shall lead us.
No, I think we'll go stoic.
Let's go.
Enter name. Right, I'm not using Pango on this occasion. I've actually gone for a name generator, and it came out with Brucor. So we're going Brucor as our name. Okay, right, we're ready to actually start the game. How long are we? We're only 24 minutes in. Trust me, it was a lot worse last time. We should have plenty of time just to get through this area. I love how the game looks. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red moustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day.
Oh, damn. Stay hydrated.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
A little bit confusing when you only hear the voice line, but it says first. Dima looks over his shoulder at his assistant, a lanky, intense man named Sparfle, who carries an old, sun-bleached bow. So he's talking to his assistant, going to go and do some hunting, but before he does that, he's asking him if he could refill our water first. Sparfle nods and slides the worn bow over his shoulder. Okay, right, I'm not going to ask all of these questions, but we will just ask a couple. What are these ruins?
Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
Okay, this tutorial is just telling us about how, based on all kinds of things like our skills, class, race, culture, and sex, they'll open up different options in dialogue. It also points out those options are not necessarily superior. I know, like, if you played a lot of other games, let's take Fallout, for example. Often, if you see a special option, like, oh, I have this skill, so I get this dialogue option, quite often that option is really, really good. It's telling us that is not the case here. It's just another option. It may be good, it may not be good. So, last question. Who did build the ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
That's fair. Right then. Okay, fair enough. Let's leave or go see about those berries then.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travellers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armour-clad woman who has spent the journey's nights sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up, on her own time.
He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her, you're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
I'm glad he said that, because if I saw that written down, how on earth would I pronounce that? Apparently it's Beawick. Apparently. Okay, end dialogue.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Alright, so I'm going to skip through basically all the tutorials that are popping up here. It's just telling us how to move. We're now going to take a minute just to look over the interface. So first things first, we have our party down here. It's currently all selected. Here we have attack, cancel, and select all, which is backspace. So if I just had him selected, if I either click this or press backspace, which I'll do now, I get everybody again. And you will notice,
Right.
I can move them around together. You'll notice that when they're both selected, I don't see their action bars, obviously. I only see the party AI. Now, the AI is kind of interesting. You can edit the AI. I'm not even going to go there for the time being because I'm a huge noob. Before we actually go to their action bar, this is the 60 out of 60 is the endurance. If I mouse over, you can see Brewcore, endurance 60 out of 60, health 360, which is the green bar at the side. I think as we take endurance damage, I think their portrait fills up red as they're taking endurance damage. And like I say, if you run out of endurance, you will be knocked out. If you run out of health, you're basically dead, to my understanding. She's only got 51 and a little bit less health because obviously we're a big boy. We're a big boy. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Oh, also you can see our little debuff here. Strange illness. Strange illness, -3 concentration, -3 fortitude. So the typical action bar then, we have got our weapons and our weapon sets. You can see we've got 2 weapon sets. We've got, well, at the moment, a great sword, and we've got melee. We don't have any other weapons. Sorry, melee? What am I talking about? Fists, unarmed. Then we've got the AI. No AI script selected. Right-click for details. I have not fiddled with this, and I'm not going to now. You've got class behavior, aggressive, berserk, and it gives you a description of what it does. But I'm going to leave it for now. And obviously auto attack as well. Passive, defend self, defensive, aggressive. So I'll go defend self for the time being. And cancel out anyway, not to change it. Then you've got this bag, which will be quick slots. That's the one. If we have potions and stuff in our quick slots, which I'll just dive into the inventory for a second, we can put stuff here. If you have stuff in there, you can access it from the bag here. And then you've got your abilities, which is Second Wind, that we read about from having athletics. Straight up, it's just a flat plus 45.5 endurance, which is huge. We can only use it once per encounter, but bearing in mind we only have 60 endurance, 45.5 is a lot. Very good. And then we've got our Frenzy ability that we read about because I picked it, right? Sending us into a Frenzy, can't see our health anymore, and we're going to go crazy and beat everyone to death. If we just take a quick look at her, we obviously know we're a Barbarian. She is a fighter. On this character button here, we can actually look at all the details. And if we actually start, so yeah, look, first level fighter, background, the Deerwood Explorer, ours is the Deadfire, and we're a labourer. And we can look through everything. We can see the exact stats that we're getting from our attributes here, which is nice in a summary format, and our other skills as well. So our athletics, we've got no law. We can only use level 0 scrolls at the moment. Survival 1, access level 1 camping bonuses. Mechanics, as I said, disarm difficulty 1 traps, pick difficulty 1 locks, plus 3 trap accuracy, stuff like that. Then our active effects are our arm to the teeth plus 1 weapon set passive, and the strange illness. And you can look through abilities and everything. We can look through defenses. In fact, while we're here, briefly, we're not going to worry about numbers too much now, okay? But we can see that this weapon is a slash and pierce type of weapon, okay? There's a whole bunch of different damage types, which is hopefully going to tell me, yeah, look. Slash, pierce, crush, burn, shock, corrode, freeze, and roar. So all of those are various damage types. Some people, some armor, some abilities will have defenses against certain types. If you can't really get through with one type of damage, you should try and use a different type instead, right? Which is fair enough. It says in the second paragraph, some weapons or attacks may do multiple damage types or list an or between the damage types. When an or is listed, the attack will always do the damage type that the target is most vulnerable to, which is useful. And finally, the raw damage is straight damage that no damage reduction will apply to. So it's stuff like poisons, similar things like that. If it's a raw damage type, it's just going to go through and you can't really have any damage reduction against it. Okie doke. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a great sword. And the defenses are the stats we talked about. Deflection, fortitude, reflex, and will. So depending, like, I think reflex was getting out of AoE, right? Deflection is, as you'd expect, physical, straight up, direct attacks, making sure you defend against those. We have really bad deflection because, as we talked about, we're a barbarian. So yeah, there's those 4 defense types, and depending on what type of attack you're doing, your accuracy will kind of roll against their defense for the type of damage you're doing, if that makes sense. We can also see our damage reduction here as well, but I won't go into the numbers too much on that. So yeah, and she's a fighter, as I mentioned. That's fine. We're not going to talk about that just yet. Anyway, sorry, we got sidetracked. So we can see she has a battle axe and a torch equipped. She can also go with her fist as well. She has an extra button, talk to Kalisha, just because she's a party member.
Springberries grow wild all over the place here. Keep your eye out.
So, you know, obviously she doesn't have anything to talk about right now, but we can click that to talk to her. Quick slots as well. She also has Second Wind from Athletics, and she has Knockdown, which is a straight up, knock them over, do some damage, and they'll be on the ground for a little while. You'll notice at the top of the tooltip, defended by deflection and whatever the other type is with the biceps. I can't remember now. Hang on. Fortitude. So it does tell you what actually... Does it tell... Well, no, this is a frenzy, so it doesn't really count. It does tell you when you're doing a special attack what stats you will actually be rolling against. And I think the fact that you can see 2 numbers in accuracy, the 33 is against deflection, and the 32 is if you're rolling against fortitude. Yeah? So anyway, it doesn't matter, but it's accuracy against the defense type to roll whether you hit or not. But it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect how we play necessarily, but it's worth knowing. All right, so they're the action bars. We've talked about these, selecting everybody. Then we've got the inventory screen, which I will nip to with him. You can see our armor here. At the moment, we have hide armor, very light armor, DR5, which I'll talk about. Recovery speed minus 25%. So I'm assuming that means 25% extra time to recover and attack again when we're wearing the hide armor. If we had heavier armor, it would be worse. Like, I bet she has scale armor, it's 35%. So she's going to recover slower because she's in medium armor, if that makes sense. So the heavier the armor, the longer it takes you to recover and attack again, I believe. So DR5, it is damage reduction. However, you'll notice, Pierce, for this particular armor, Pierce 6, Freeze 6, Corrode 3. So it's given 5 overall. I don't know if that's just like the average or whatever, but it's something like that, the average or the median. If we look at hers, actually. See, hers is 7, and she's got 9, 5, 9 for Slash, Pierce, and Freeze. And we've got Pierce, Freeze, and Corrode on this particular. So, really, it's going to depend what you're being attacked with, but you get just a nice flat number to get a general idea of the damage reduction as well. That's my understanding. Yeah. I mean, hang on a sec, though, because it says many creatures have natural DR. Maybe it's just natural DR on top, actually. Damage reduction is subtracted directly from all incoming damage. Attack initially does 20 damage. To a target with 7 DR would be reduced to 13. Yeah, but what about the... I guess that... Many suits of armor, many creatures grant different damage reduction values against different damage types. So, maybe it's DR5 against everything else? That's probably actually what it is. I'm probably being mistaken there. It's probably... And someone will probably tell me, but... It'll probably be DR5 against everything, except Pierce, which is 6, Freeze, which is 6, and Corrode, which is 3. That's probably what it means. So yeah, then it has recovery speed, and then we can enchant it, which obviously I have no idea what enchanting is yet. I mean, I can click it. Quality, I assume we can just obviously make it better, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so that's our armor. Our weapon sets are here. Oh, so we actually have 3, and you've only got 2. Ah, so there's our extra. We actually have 3 weapon sets we can use. Quick items I've discussed. There's our cache. We currently don't have any camping supplies, so we can't camp. We also have stash, which looks kind of like a bank. However, it is honest. Like, if I go and loot, and I will loot some mushrooms, actually, they will go straight into this ingredients section. They won't be in our normal inventory here. They will go straight into the stash, which is kind of handy. Finally, we've got crafting, food. Obviously, look, you've got to get these ingredients, then you can cook stuff, and you can make potions. A long time until we can actually do that at the moment. Alright, then we get another overview of our stats and stuff that we don't need to talk about. Finally then, we do start with a ring. Gown's Pledge, Gorn's Pledge, I'm going Gorn. I don't know why we have this ring. Maybe it's because of the edition or the DLC or something. It's worth a fair bit, 410, bearing in mind we only have 100. However, it doesn't seem that overpowered. It doesn't give any stats, it just grants Gorn's Pledge, which I've just clicked off because I'm an idiot. We can only use it twice per rest, so we have to rest to get the charges back. And that just gives us an immediate 15 endurance, which isn't that strong. Well, yeah, I guess it kind of is, but... And we can use that twice per rest. So it's an extra little heal, but it's not, like, totally crazy. So we'll equip it. Then finally we've got this. Giant miniature space piglet, and I don't know why the tooltip shimmers on that one. But we can have pets, which I didn't realise at first. And there it is. So... I'm gonna put it away for now, because it feels like a little bit immersion breaking, and it's a bit like, why is this here? But I might change my mind and get it out later, so we're just going to keep that honest for the time being. Alright, so that's the inventory. The character screen we've already looked at. We can look through, we can look at stats and stuff as well, what the party's done overall. Kind of good in all our characters. The journal is self-explanatory, we've got quests. Journal, which at the moment only has biography in for Brewcore, but it'll add a bunch of stuff. We've got a cyclopedia if we need to look anything up. And a notes thing as well. We can actually create our own notes, so hopefully I'll remember to do that if anything comes up. But yeah, quests. We've got the Hallowing of Deerwood. Collect some springberries, which we're about to do, and the Gilded Vale. Journey to the Gilded Vale. Good, good, good. Down here, we've got formation. Now, we can go in different formation, because we're just in the block formation at the moment. If we move everybody together. Well, it means only 2 of us, so it's kind of hard to see, but... Yeah, and then we can go into different things. Triangle, we can go single file, excuse me. Which means we'll always walk like this. And he'll always go in front. We can also make custom formations, where we literally drag stuff around in a grid for slot 1 and 2. And then we can apply that to these. So I'm sure we'll mess with that, but not for the time being. Okay, camping, again, we don't have any camping supplies. Then we've got scouting, which is stealth, which I'm going to explain. and it's set on pause.
Steady
So
does
you'll
it.
notice we're creeping around in stealth mode, but it's red and we can be seen, and it's very obvious. When we get to our first combat, I will show off how it works when you get discovered. Essentially, the circle fills up yellow as they start to notice you, like in every game, right? And then it fills up red when it's like, oh shit, you're screwed. But it does fill up quite quickly. And obviously, we're not going to be very stealthy. Alright, then we've got a map, which at the moment is just like an overview of the whole thing. This will light up as we explore. There is a world map as well. Not really going to look at this because I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Don't know what we're doing. Stronghold, you don't own a stronghold yet. Don't know what that does. And finally, the options, which is just, the menu. Okay, so that is the UI. Of course, we can pause as well. Tells us what day it is, what time it is, stuff like that. And then we have this little log down here. All right, I think we're ready to start playing the game. I do apologize, but I did warn you. So we can walk around. I mean, I can just take him. I can press 1 or 2 to select them. And I can talk to people. Yeah, it's telling us that most people don't really have anything interesting to say. But you can talk to them. Caravan Life doesn't agree with you, does it? Blah, blah, blah. But what we can also do is hold tab, which shows not only people we can talk to, but also items that we can interact with. So you notice there's a lockbox over here. Crate we can loot there. Crate we can loot there. Only when we're in vision. So look, well actually, because I've already discovered... Oh no, there you go. It does... When I can't see it, it doesn't show it. If I hold tab, it does come up. So, first thing I'm actually going to do is I am going to loot... Well, obviously, again, I've done this small area, so I already know. So we've got some clothing, which I'll just hang on to, and a lockpick. Why am I picking that up first? Because it need a lockpick for this. Now, that table looks confusing, right? It's not when you realize. So basically it's saying if your mechanic skill is 0, you will require 3 lockpicks to open this. And it's red because we don't have 3 lockpicks on us. If your mechanic skill is 1, it will take 1 lockpick. If your mechanic skill is 2, and we don't have mechanics 2, which is why that's red, it would take 0 lockpicks. Since we actually have mechanics 1, we only need 1 lockpick, and we have it. So we can say, yes, we'll use it. Open up this chest. We get a bit of XP for lockpicking. And we get a potion. Instant plus 50 endurance. Lovely. Let's pick that up. Let's drop it into our quick slot. And there you go. You can see that's our ring. The Gorn's Pledge. And there's the potion that we can now use in combat. Worth noting, we can't change these quick items in combat. Alright, so let's just go pick up... Basically, none of these have anything to say, right? So just don't worry about it. When I get to the place that I'm not familiar with, I will be talking to everyone. Alright, we have another potion, but this is actually plus 35 endurance over 12 seconds. So it's a heal over time. Let's drop that into her quick slot, just so that she has one. Excellent.
Anyone need supplies?
Let's bring everyone over here.
Sundries for sale.
Let's talk to the merchant. Yoden. You see a man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles. It's covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
I would like to take a look, but just quickly, who are you?
I'm a trader, originally from the Adir Empire, but I've been trying to establish new business out here. Life on the road has brought some unexpected challenges, to be sure. And I'm sure you've noticed how prickly the locals can be. But we're here to make the most of things, right?
So I have a bunch of options. I can tell him he's naive, which is a bit mean. But we'll just say we might as well try, yeah. We'll try and make the most of things. My thoughts exactly.
Something else you need? Looks like we're settled for the night.
Okay, I'm not going to ask him a whole bunch of questions. Let's see what you've got. So this is trading. I could now... Yeah, go away. I could sell the clothes. They're worth 75, look. If I drop them here, we will get 75. As it happens, a bunch of weapons are worth 75. So if I wanted a hunting bow, we could just trade straight up and it would be 0. If I wanted the quarterstaff as well, I'd be paying 75 and so on. I'm not going to sell this in case we need it because I don't really know what's coming up. Can't sell the pet. But yeah, he sells a bunch of different weapons. If we weren't happy with the weapon we started with, we could actually just pick up something from here. Shields as well. Armor, some lockpicks as well. If we didn't have any mechanic skill and we really wanted to open that lockbox, we could take 3 lockpicks here for 38 and then go and open it. Potion, that's about it. Can retrain character, I don't know what that does, I'm not going to look at it just now. Party, stash, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's the merchant. let's actually start having a look around, shall we? Exploration is key. Yep. I know. Zoom in a little bit, can't we? In fact, I should really use the arrow keys. It feels much nicer.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
Okay. Then I'll use the arrow keys, immediately start using the mouse. So I can hold tab and make sure there's nothing I can pick up here. Oh, there you go, look. If I hold tab, it lights up. Admeth's worked. This path winds through a narrow canyon back the way you came. Grooves in the road.
Straight too far.
So you have to interrupt. Grooves in the road mark the passage of hundreds of caravans. So if I check the map now,
Check by those
you can see this is
outcroppings.
lit up. Now you can see, look, it's not a very big area at all. But this is all I've done. This is all I've done. We're just going to do it again. I've already gone through most of the tutorials. There is a wolf. So I should have gone into stealth to show it off, but you understand, I'm sure, anyway. So yeah, it's pausable. It will automatically pause. So now that we're in combat, it does automatically pause. If we mouse over the wolf, we can see we don't know about his defenses or DR because we don't know any info yet. The red little dots are its health generally, and as it loses health, we'll get a description in that top left tooltip as well. So at the moment then, we've just got orders to move. He's got an order to attack, like the cheeky bugger he is. What we'll do is we'll actually go straight in and use our knockdown, which we can use twice per encounter, pretty much to make sure we don't take as much damage. So there we go, cue that up. You might as well use Frenzy. In the time it takes for the gap to close here, you could do that, couldn't you? So let's use our Frenzy for our once per this encounter. And now we'll unpause. Yeah. When a party starts to take damage, they'll lose endurance and health, blah, blah, blah. Portrait will fill. You can also see down here the actions that we have queued up. Current action. When your character has been engaged in melee. Yeah, we know. You can also see these kind of lines indicating who's targeting who. Did I just cancel his frenzy? No, he cast it. I was like, I just right-clicked and I thought I moved him. But no, you can see he's frenzied. Question mark out of 70. It's telling us we scored a crit. Essentially, the higher your accuracy is than the defense, the more likely you are to crit. If you've got lower accuracy, you will graze, which is obviously worse than a normal hit. So you've got graze, which is crap, a normal hit, or a critical hit. Okay, right, well, let's go and attack then. Let's just make sure everybody's attacking. When you mouse over, you actually get a percentage chance to hit. Look, 61%, 68%. You can see already, just from that attack, the wolf is badly injured at the top left there. And also it says prone. We also know a bit about its defenses now because we've been fighting it. But yeah, it's prone for another 2.5 seconds because we knocked it over. She's probably going to kill it before we even get there. I think we missed, didn't we? There we go. Also, it's lighting it on fire because she has a torch. And I believe... Yeah, properties burning lash, right? Plus 10% burn damage because it's a torch. Alright, so that was very simple. We'll loot the wolf hide. Obviously, that was a very, very easy battle, so...
This is it.
Okay. We found the berries. So because we're a labourer, that's affecting what she's saying. Dima says you're a working man. Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's be a blacksmith. Hard work at that. I was a blacksmith. Yeah? How is it you happened to come here? My master was a jealous person? He saw to it as soon as I finished my apprenticeship, would never be able to compete against him. My master died in the middle of my training. There's nothing left for me. My skills were wasted. That isn't your business. Let's say my master died in the middle of my training. There was nothing left for me there. That's a damnable run of luck. Maybe the new setting will turn things around for you. Felicia breathes in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Radric's offer makes a girl think, I'll give him that. You here to settle like the rest of the lot? It's a hard offer to pass up. You won't find many offers like it in these parts, believe me. Got some big plan in store? Settle and start a new life. Lay low for a while. Filthy rich. Have no idea what I'm going to do next. Let's say I've got no idea. Completely spontaneous, huh? Interesting. Well, there's probably no hurry to make it up to make up your mind. I can read, I promise. They've got an inn in Gilded Vale that will put you up as long as you need. Or so my sister tells me. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Dima will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. It's telling us that the journal will be upgraded. Just before we get on our way, let's learn a little bit about Kalisha. Tell me about yourself. I've got simple needs. I like open skies and far horizons. I find work that lets me live that way. My family wanders too. We started in Deerwood, but my parents ended up in the Living Lands. I've got a brother in Ratawi and another in Adir. Rawatai, not Ratawi. Ratatouille. My sister in Gilded Vale, she's the only real homebody, so her family's all split up. She likes open skies and far horizons. Alright, let's get back to camp. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparfle's getting getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like, when he feels like it. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get you your water. Moment's respite. Right, okay, I don't think we can go this way. No. We can go down here, though. Holding tab just to make sure I don't miss anything. Got mushroom here, burned lady. So again, if I just nip into my stash... Ingredients, here's the stuff we've picked up so far, including the springberry. But yeah, obviously I'm going around a little bit recklessly and haphazardly because I know my way around here. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I don't know what I'm doing just for this little tutorial bit. There's the river. You can see, look, we've got a fair chunk of the map explored. We can't actually go across that bridge. Can go over there. Let's just have a look around here first. Oh, a deer. And some bodies. Travelers, maybe. Or looters. Or bandits. Bad sign anyway, you figure it. The corpse is cold to the touch, and a ripe smell wafts from it in putrid waves. A dark, crusted bloodstain besmirches its simple linen clothing. I'm running out of steam for all this talking. Right, so we can loot the other corpse, though. It's got leather armor, which is DR6 and 30% recovery speed. So it would give us a bit more DR than we have now, but the recovery speed would be slower. Another lockpick as well. Fair enough. I don't think there's anything else to loot. Just that we've talked about. I don't know what these are on the... Some kind of like weird cocoon light. It's kind of cool though. Alright. Have I missed anywhere? Oh yeah, I haven't got in here. Let's just nip up there quickly. I think I can just click back here, can I? I really love the way the game looks. I think it's really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. And just head back towards camp for a sec, because I really should have just explored. I don't know what this stone is. The fallen tree doesn't budge. Sap oozes from the jagged wound in its trunk.
Not looking forward to trying to lift that thing tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's our only way out of here. Where the horses are stabled. Or can I? No. No, I can't click on them. Happen to know there's a mushroom there. Okay. Alright, let's head across the bridge then and find Sparfle and get some water. And then we're about done here.
What a surprise. Sparfle went hunting. At least he left the water skins.
Okay, telling us about the tab key. There you go, you can see the water skins. You crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Kalisha waits nearby. Keeping watch. As you rise, you notice her look up sharply towards the tree line. You've gained an item, full water skin added to the stash. Great. Out of the trees emerges Sparfle, one of the guides, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait. His stride wobbly as he moves towards you with laboured breath.
Sparfle? Are you alright?
Sparfle's toe catches on a rock and he collapses forward in a heap. The feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag.
Ambush!
You bastards. Alright. So being ambushed, which is unideal. You've got a bow, I think. And you're a sword and shield. So I think what I'm going to do... I'm not going to bother to cast Frenzy, because I don't... It doesn't really tell you how long it takes him to do it, but it takes a hot minute, doesn't it? I'm not going to, for the moment. Let's just go... Since we're going to be shot and hit, let's just go get stuck in. I will get you to knock him over. We might as well, right? We can use it for free twice per encounter.
Yeah.
God, he's slow, isn't he? Knock him over. Did it not manage? It must have not got through the defenses, did it? Knockdown misses. You can see the roll and everything here. Obviously, I'm not really going to go into the numbers, but yeah. Damn. Okay, let's try again. We have another use. We're just attacking here. We've already taken a little bit of damage, but we're okay. There it is. Knocked him down. Done 8 damage here. So you can see as well, at the top left, it says injured. This guy's badly injured. He's prone for 3 seconds. Burning as well. He's probably going to die in a sec. We're struggling a bit. There we go. 16. There we go. Near death. Near death. That's it, Brucor. Right. I mean, you might as well go over here, but I don't think you're going to be needed. So we can also see as her portrait's filled up red because she's taken 10 endurance damage. She's taken a bit of health damage as well. At the top left there, look. 236 out of 253. But it's the endurance that, if it runs out, she'll be knocked out. Got to keep an eye on that. But her endurance does fill up. Once you get out of combat, your endurance fills back up. Obviously, the health doesn't, because the health is a long-term thing. Let's just loot before we leave. Oh, an amethyst. 10 value. Hide armor, a hunting bow. I mean, I could put the bow on. There's no real reason to at the moment, I don't think. You can loot the money from there. Just zoom out for a sec. Is there anything else? I'm just holding tab. Make sure we can not see anything else that we can grab. Well, yeah, we can see something over here. Mushrooms. Deer caps. And we've got a campfire here. Let's just scroll this back down. I was like, hang on, it should appear here. Let's get back to the bottom. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, here. There we go. The footprints around the campfire are indistinct and may have been here for days or longer. Problem is, if you try to read it off the screen, it doesn't actually stay there for very long. Oh, beer. Should have clicked on it there. Oh, okay. +1 damage reduction for 300 seconds. Not bad, not bad. That's it though, right? Yeah, it's empty. Okay. So yeah, when we get to the next area and I'm not familiar with what we're doing, I'm going to be like being super cautious and sneaking around. It's just a bit of a weird episode while I kind of explain how the game works, but we're pretty much done now. We just need to get through this kind of story beat. Let's actually, since I know where the enemies are, we're going to sneak just so, and it's going to happen quite fast, but we can just see how this works. I assume they're going to see me. Well, there you go. Oh, they haven't seen me yet. There they are, look. Another hunter with a bow and a sword and shield. Just creep forward a bit more. There you go. See how it's yellow and then it goes red? I'm actually going to run back around the corner so we don't get shot a ton. She's still sneaking. They haven't seen her. Okay, they have now. Just bring them in nice and close. Okay. Alright, you stun him. Just to reduce our damage that we take in. I think I will Frenzy. And then we'll see how this opens up.
What you need?
We do have our heal if we need it. Okay, have you frenzied? Yeah, you have. Sorry, I'm being slow. I think I'm going to get you to go after him. Now that he's on the floor. Well, you have done damage. Let's try and finish. Tell you what, actually. Knock him over as well. So you see that bar going across underneath the health? That's their recovery time before they can do another action. Did you miss? I think you missed. Oh, no, you didn't. Right, hit him again. Just keep an eye on health and stuff. Obviously, we don't know what health is here. But we're not being hit by the 2 in melee anyway. Whoops, didn't mean to move you there. See how it said disengage? Much like many turn-based games, I think if you try to move away while someone's engaged with you, they get a free hit on you. So you've got to be a little bit careful. So I should really do the targeting and clicking down here so I don't make a mistake. Right, we nearly killed him. We just missed. He's badly injured, that guy. Like I say, we can heal if we need to on endurance. I think we're okay. We are struggling. We're not doing a lot of damage. He's dead, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of hatchets, a couple of medium shields, hide armor, and some cash.
Right.
All right. Oh, no, both of you. Both of you. Oh, we missed one. Another bow. Maybe you should be equipping those, but anyway. Back to camp, quick. Oh no, there's a bunch of bodies, he says. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travellers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Kalisha puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as if to ward away some poisonous vapour. A handful of dark figures stand above the fallen, treading on limbs and backs and heads, jerking their axes from bodies as if from half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe with a thick beard tasseled with knots, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man you recognise as Yoden, the last of your caravan left standing. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life for a fight you will lose. Okay, so unfortunately we don't have Law 1, so we don't have this option. We can say, why have you done this? We have not trespassed, we merely wish to pass through. Don't know what they did, but I didn't have anything to do with it. Murderers, you will pay for each life. You will try to kill us either way, why make it easier? Let's say murderers, you'll pay for each life. Death willed by the gods is not murder, but righteousness. You have trespassed in places which no mortal man is worthy. The debt is not ours to pay, but yours. Okay, it's now going to tell us about disposition. So you now have 1 rank in disposition reputation. These reputations represent how people perceive your personality throughout the world. Even seemingly nasty reputations will be favoured by some people, and benign reputations often bring out the worst in certain people. So different people will like or hate you based on, your kind of, your disposition with certain kind of actions and how you behave. Because even if you're evil, other evil people will like you, right? It also goes on to just tell us that, there's no inherently good or bad in Pillars of Eternity. But it does mention if you are a priest or paladin with your main character, your disposition should actually align with your deity or your order. And you'll get bonuses for that. And I think you get penalties if you don't align with your order or your deity. But we're not a priest or paladin, so it doesn't really matter. So I won't really worry about that too much. It also lends more power to their holy radiance and faith and conviction stuff. But again, that's not us at the moment. So I say again, lay down your arms. Don't trust them. They mean to kill us all. Alright, we are innocent in this. Will you not listen to reason? We do have a might option. Only a fool attacks a weak enemy while a stronger one yet lives. Athletics, rush the man before he can react. We can put down our weapons and say, very well, let him go. We can stay armed. If I put down my weapons, we're all dead. Should we rush him? Because I haven't tried this one, and I kind of want to see what happens. Let's rush him. Athletics 2. Your surprising speed catches the man off guard. He hurls Yoden out of the way in hopes of buying himself some time to defend your charge. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we now have Yoden in our party. You can see he's got very low endurance. If we go onto his action bar, same as everything, but he's a rogue, right? If we go onto his page, he's a first level rogue. So he actually has Blinding Strike. Shows you what it's defended by and its accuracy, blah blah. But once per encounter, a dirty attack that makes the opponent unable to see, inflicts extra damage and blinds the target. So if we can... But I'll be honest, I think the reason it's not showing there, but it is showing here as queued up, is I think he gets pushed over. I know, big spoilers. Let's send... Well, actually, let's Frenzy again. I'm kind of okay with it. I'm going to send you to knock him over, and let's just see how this plays out. Okay, they all ran past our good friend, the rogue. Now that you've frenzied, maybe just attack the leader. Actually, no, attack the same one. You still haven't done that. I'll tell you what, blind this guy then. If you would, can you? I take it the knockdown failed. There's the blind, so if we just mouse over him now. Blinded for 9.9 seconds, near death anyway, but he's killing him. We're in a frenzy, we're attacking the hunter. Unfortunately, I imagine... See these status effects, so we've got Strange Illness and Frenzy there. If we look at her, she's actually... Well, she's got Constant Recovery. Oh, which is one of her traits, her ability. Sorry, I was confused then. She actually has an ability called Constant Recovery, which allows her to heal endurance over time. And she's done that automatically because of her AI, I guess. So anyway, yeah, she's got flanked, minus 10 deflection, because she's got enemies on either side of her. So going forward, we need to be better with that. I will, I think, knock the leader over if we can, when she's finished her action. Let's bring you over here, and let's flank him. Hopefully we're about to finish him off, that one. Leader's dead. And the last one's dead. So obviously I'm making a meal out of very short and small combat at the moment, but I'm just trying to explain how things work. Your enemy lies supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companion is now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above you. Forgive us. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. At this, the man's eyes roll back as he closes them. Good, good. The gods are just. A queer smile crosses his face. I am ready. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the camp, electric and volatile, upending pots and rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin, and where it pierces you, it feels as though it's rending you apart from within. Seated against a wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across chest and bow, the Dima's body stirs, and with great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you.
Get inside! Run!
Whirlwind time. Straining against a gale that threatens to pull you off of your feet with every step, you set your hands in the worn folds of the weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up the precipice. With a last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up onto the ledge. Yoden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers, who has been feigning death, lunges for Hyoden and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Hyoden lashes out against his fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. They are close to you. Despite the wind, from your position, if you were to throw your weapon at the attacker, you would have a good chance at hitting your mark. Right, so, first of all, apologies, I've been talking a lot this episode, I'm stumbling over my words a bit now, I'm running out of steam. Alright, so, we have options. We don't have the dexterity option, which is a shame, but we can throw our weapon at the attacker, or we can just leave him and allow him to break free on his own. So, I already know what happens here, but I really should have figured it out, but I'm not going to game the system. So, basically, if I throw my weapon at the attacker, when we get to the next area, I don't have my weapon anymore. But since this is what I would have naturally chosen, and I did choose last time, I'm going to do it again. We could have... Sorry, I'm punching the microphone. We could have gamed it. We could have equipped like those hatchets we picked up and thrown one of them if we'd equipped them right before the combat or something. But I wanted it to be like how it was the first time I played. So, we're going to throw our weapon, which we won't be getting back. Your aim is true, and the hit jars Hyoden loose. Lurching to his feet, Hyoden clambers up the base of the rocks. As he nears the top, however, the wind flares, pulling him sideways and tearing one of his hands free. But diving out onto the hard rock, you manage to catch hold of it. Securing his other hand, you pull with waning strength, and it feels as though your arms will be jerked from their sockets. They hold just long enough for Hyoden to set his feet and join you on the trembling ledge. There is a deep resonance to the swelling wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet, and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new gust menaces the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight. And now we move inside. And so, this is as far as I've been. Just gonna have a bit of dialogue here.
Was that?
A Bewick. Had to be.
Of course it was a bloody Beerwick.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside.
Okay, so this is where we leave the episode for today. So this is as far as I've ever been. Now we are completely blind. Like I say, I'm sure now if you're still here with me, you can understand why I decided to set that episode aside and just say, look, there's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of explaining how all the UI works, how combat works, and now we're all on the same page. Now, there might be things I've made small mistakes about, or I don't know properly, because I'm still just a complete noob figuring it out on my own. But now we're all on the same page, and we're ready to go on and get into the story, settle in, and really kind of figure out how things go. So, as I said, if you are still with me, thank you very, very much for your time. Really appreciate that you've stuck it out through all my talking and going on and on. Hope you have an awesome day yourself, and I will see you in the next episode.